This is the Warminster Town Football Club Supporter Podcast. This is the podcast by supporters for supporters. We bring you match reports, interviews and much more. We travel both home and away to bring you the excitement of non-league football to wherever you are. Well, once again, I am joined by Jamie House. Hiya, Jamie. How are you doing today?
Good evening. I am okay, thank you. You?
Yeah, very well, thank you. A little disappointed after Saturday with what happened. So we're going to talk about that. That's first up on the agenda is our long trip down to Tavistock in Devon for the Les Phillips quarterfinal, which was rolled over from last season. So Jamie, your thoughts on the game, please.
Yeah, it was a long old trip down there, and unfortunately it was a long trip for a defeat, sadly. But it wasn't our fault at the end of the day, I don't think. The game ended 4-0. I don't think that was reflective of the teams at all. I mean, Tavistock didn't look better than us for most of the game. Really, it was the referee, I think, that ultimately decided the game in the end. And, I'm not the only one who thinks that. I think most of the people there thought that. I think, Churchy getting 2 yellow cards in the space of about 10 minutes. The first one was definitely dubious. The second one, I reckon, probably did warrant a yellow. But, if he hadn't got that first one, he wouldn't have been sent off. So, I think that rather killed the game, really, in terms of any real competition. And obviously, Jeff has got sin-binned as well for complaining about it, I assume. So for about 10 minutes there, we were down to 9 men, and we still held our own. Tavistock weren't suddenly upon us and banging home the goals. So if we'd have kept 11 players on the pitch for the entirety, and I know maybe the game would have been officiated slightly better. I don't like to speak too ill of referees, but it was not a good game. Some of the punishment we got in that game was incredibly harsh. And we should have been given a penalty as well. I noticed Crabby posted something about that on Twitter. When he saw the picture, I actually caught a picture of it, that particular incident, and it does appear to be in the box. So we were also sold one there. So it is what it is, unfortunately.
It is. I mean, refereeing is a tough job. It's difficult to do, and even if you play something back on video, we see that with VAR. It's sometimes hard to work out whether it is or it isn't. With 16 camera angles. But I think when yellow cards come out quite easily, it does throw a different tone on the game from both sides. To be fair. The referee starts getting called into question, and then things can go a little bit wrong in many ways. So let's hope we don't come across that too often this season, that referees...
Well, hopefully not. So far, all the officials, I think, have been pretty good, actually, in our games. So,
Yeah, fair credit in that way, isn't it? So obviously, the first goal came about 4 minutes or so from the end of what would have been normal time for the first half. Which again put Warminster under great pressure. We knew the second half was going to be a tough one, and I don't think the goal scoreline reflected, say, the performance in any way, did it? But
absolutely not, no.
But that's the way it was. So it finished at 4-0, and fair play to Tavistock. They go through to a semi-final place now in the Les Phillips Cup. So we do wish them well. They're a nice club, a very friendly bunch we met down there. I must say, they were very welcoming, and it was nice to meet people who came up and said hello from Tavistock. So thank you for that, Tavistock, if you're listening to us right now. So we might as well actually talk, Jamie, while we're on this, because it's only a short review, really, of that match. Shall we think about more positive things? Obviously, Warminster, we know, have won 3 out of 3 in the league. Who's coming up next?
We have Bishop Sutton at home next Saturday, or this coming Saturday. So that should be a good one. I think they are mid-table at the moment, but one game so far. So they'll be arguably well rested.
Yeah.
I don't know when they played their last game, actually. It was this weekend, actually, against Shepton Mallet in the FA Vars. So, they had 2 weeks off between their opening game and that game. I'm not sure if they've played anything else in between. I assume not. There's nothing on the fixtures list here. That should be an interesting one. Bishop Sutton, again, are a bit of a... You never quite know what you're going to get in terms of, how they're going to put up, how good they're going to be. That is, the unpredictability of non-league football, as it were.
Yeah, but confidence is high for Warminster. I don't think we should be too disappointed with anything from Saturday. It's a one-off game down at Tavistock. Can't fault the players for what their commitment, etc., the hard work they put in. And with 10 men, that was a lot of hard work. So we've got hope we keep 11 men on the pitch on Saturday and have a good game against Bishop Sutton. It's all to play for. And if we win that one, 4 out of 4 will be absolutely...
Certainly is. It will indeed, yes. And we should go back top of the league, I believe, if we win. Lebec are above us at the moment, but only because they've played more games than us. So, yeah.
Excellent. So we'll look forward to that. So, Jamie, thank you once again. And by the way, Jamie, some great photographs coming from you now. So we appreciate those. We'll be able to see them on our Facebook page and Instagram as well. So look out for Jamie's
very welcome.
photos, everyone. All right. Take care. See you soon. It's been many years since Warminster Town Football Club had a ladies team. In fact, we used to have a very good ladies team back in the 1970s, a team that actually reached the semi-final of the Ladies FA Cup. Quite a feat to accomplish. And also one of the players was actually an England international. Well, that's something perhaps the new Warminster Town Football Club ladies team can actually aspire to. So I'm going to interview the manager of the ladies team to get a little bit of insight into what's happening and to really help promote the ladies team so that people can find out more about them and come along and watch them play. So I'm now pleased to introduce to you our guest of the week. Coming up next is our guest of the week. Well, I'm very pleased to welcome to the podcast Mr. Tim Fry, who's the manager of Warminster Town Ladies Football Club. Welcome, Tim. How are you doing?
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, all doing well. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me on.
Well, it's a pleasure. I've been wanting to do this since the ladies team was started because I think it's great for Warminster to have a ladies team once again. So before we start talking too much about the team, let's introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about your footballing background.
Yeah, well, I've always lived in Warminster, always played sort of local football, if you like, the Trowbridge Leagues, the Salisbury Leagues. Never quite got up onto the Weymouth Street, never quite made the grade up there. And then sort of as soon as I started having a family, started getting involved in grassroots football. Probably been involved with grassroots for about 20 years now. Originally started with Highbury when my son was 5. Managed his age group until he was about 12. He then moved on to Yeovil. And my daughter was about 8 at the time, and she showed an interest in football. At the time, Warminster didn't have a specific girls team. Unfortunately, Trowbridge was the nearest club to us. So went across to Trowbridge, got asked to sort of manage the age group and just carried on really. Had 12 or 13 years with Trowbridge, took the girls from under 8s into open age, which is obviously ladies football. And then had 4 years at open age, 2 years in the Wilts and the last 2 seasons in the South East Counties with Trowbridge. And obviously, now I find myself with Warminster Town Ladies.
Very good. So how's it going then with the team development, getting the team to start afresh in a sense? How's it all working out?
Yeah, well, we've been really fortunate. It's a bit of a coming together of a couple of groups, really. You obviously had a Sky Blues team that are sort of Warminster based. And obviously my Trowbridge side, we folded mainly because of the COVID issues, sort of February, March time. The club approached me to sort of take on the ladies. So it was an opportunity to bring a couple of groups together and then really establish a really strong squad with some really good numbers around it. And then alongside that, you've got players that have sort of looked at the interest and have joined as well. Example, Rachel Godden's coming from Yeovil, only 16, but she's a good quality little player. So we've been really fortunate. There's been some really good interest from a couple of areas, and it's got us in a really good position with some strong players and a big squad.
Well, that's good. Well, I noticed the goal scoring record so far for the ladies is looking pretty good.
So far. Yeah, I'm sure we're going to have tougher games to come. Maybe we were blessed. I mean, it is obviously our first league appearance as the ladies team. The first game we played was at Ashton. They were a side that come up from under 16s, and I think they're predominantly still quite a very young side. So that's not a bad first league game for us. Marlborough, the one we've just played on Sunday, quite an established ladies team. Probably struggling themselves this year a little bit with numbers, but they are still quite an established side. Gave us a good test in the first half, and then we sort of got up and running, and the goals started coming through a little bit then.
Yeah, I believe it finished up 10-1, wasn't it, in the end?
10-1, yeah. Still conceded 2 goals though, so a little bit of work to do yet.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, isn't it? It's always practice makes perfect. The more they play together, the better it will be. So you seem to have quite a lot in the squad.
We've signed on about 26 players.
Yeah.
Which I suppose if you look back over the previous seasons I've managed, it's been totally the opposite. But like I've said, it's a great position to be in. We've got good competition for places, and it can only be healthy for Warminster going forward. 26 signed on. We're taking 18 to a game, even though I can only name 16. We're trying to give an extra couple a bit of involvement in the squad on match days, just to try and keep the opportunities for people and keep them involved, really.
That's good. Fantastic. I don't know much about ladies' leagues in our area, or generally even across the country. I know ladies' football is extremely popular, which is great news for football, for women's football generally. So what's the league that you're playing in right now?
We currently play in the Wiltshire County Women's League. It's Division 1. To be fair, there is only one division, but we play in Division 1. That's Tier 7 or Level 7 of women's football, if you like. It's quite a healthy league. There's 10 teams in our division, and we go Bath, Calne, Marlborough, Ashton Keys, Trowbridge Wanderers, Melksham, Chippenham, Salisbury and Highworth. So we've got a little bit of a broad spread. We go across to Bath up to sort of top end of Swindon. So it's a good, healthy league. There's some established clubs in that league, but there's also some new ones coming in. Bath, I think this might be their first season for a while with women's football. I know Ashton, it's their first season. But then you look at teams like Melksham and, like I already mentioned, Marlborough, they're quite established sides. So it's a good, healthy league. Our season will probably run, if weather permitting, it'll probably run till end of January, maybe February, depending on the weather.
Yeah.
And then obviously we've got the League Cup that we'll play in, and then we've already entered the County Cup. Always like to enter the County Cup. It's a good established cup, so I always like to enter that one.
Yeah, it's good for the players as well to have a cup challenge, I think, isn't it?
Yeah. Good. There's nothing like a cup final day. So yeah, we've got plenty to look forward to. But yeah, it's a good, healthy league.
Oh, that's excellent. So what would happen if you absolutely can get promoted? Where would you go next?
Well, I'll be honest with you, I haven't quite looked above. It's almost like take one step at a time. The step up for us previous was South East Counties. You end up playing a lot of, it depends how they split the divisions. When we entered it 2 years ago, it was predominantly a lot of Bristol sides. I think what they've done now is they've tried to restructure it, and there might be a few more Swindon sides in sort of like the Eastern or the Western. So that's really the step up for us. But I think we'll see how we get on first.
Well, absolutely. It's very early days to talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good plan. So what's it like playing at Weymouth Street, having a decent pitch and everything else there?
Yeah, to be fair, I mean, I know Graham. So I used to play football with Graham. So, but no, yeah, the pitch is lovely, absolutely lovely. Yeah, I think it's one of the first things to get the ladies. I was going to say girls. The ladies noticed when they got up there is the pitch is such good quality. You know, and I think that's one of the things that's really sort of sold it to a lot of the players is, you know, we've got a nice clubhouse, we've got a nice pitch, we've got a club that's willing to sort of support and, you know, if there's funding or sponsorship, you know, so it's really good up there.
And that's good. I believe you've been getting quite a few turn up to watch. I know it was pre-season when I came up, but there's a fairly good crowd there, and I think you've had reasonable crowds since turn up.
Yeah, I mean we've played 5 fixtures now, 3 friendlies. The 3 friendlies were up at Warminster Street, and I didn't really count. Someone mentioned we sort of had about 80 people up there, which isn't a bad turnout.
No.
You know, and alongside with your help, if we can sort of raise the profile even further, and you know we continue to do well, yeah, hopefully the interest will grow.
Yeah,
and we'll get a few more people up there on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, and it's usually 2 o'clock kickoff, I think, is the scheduled time, isn't it, on a Sunday?
Yeah, always 2 o'clock.
Always 2 o'clock, right? Brilliant.
Always 2 o'clock, yeah.
Yeah. So when's your next match coming up?
Yeah, we've got another home fixture this Sunday up at Warminster Street.
Yeah.
It's a 2 p.m. kickoff against FC Chippenham. So yeah, if people want to come up, yeah, I like to think the football we're playing is good. I think you're almost guaranteed to see some goals.
Yeah.
Hopefully in the right end.
Yeah.
So yeah, 2 o'clock Chippenham's 26, I think it is Sunday.
There you go. It is indeed. It is, 26th of September. So if you're listening to this podcast after that date, you'll have to look at the next match. But if before, please come along. Do support Warminster Town Ladies, and in fact football generally, because it's good to support non-league clubs. They serve the community well, really, don't they, if you think about it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's giving people, you know, an opportunity not just to play football, but to volunteers. How are you doing on the volunteer front? Because it takes a lot more to run a club than just having a manager and a team of girls to play.
Yeah, it's been really promising. You know, I'm fortunate to have Lewis Graham, Warminster Town player, come in on the coaching. Lewis is brilliant. You know, alongside with his job as a PT instructor, he's great with the ladies. So he's been really good. Yeah, we've got a couple of ladies who are quite happy to tuck in and organise the friendlies. We've got someone else who's willing to get involved in the social media side of things. So I think all we really need to do now is just let it settle down, let the structure settle, then we'll really establish who's doing what for the team. But it's been really good so far.
Good, because there's a lot of hard work goes on behind the scenes, not just the 90 minutes on the pitch, isn't it? That's the
Absolutely. Yeah, I think some people underestimate what goes in. It is slightly easier for myself this year because the numbers we've got available, and maybe not quite so much chasing around. It's a different problem to have this year. Before we go, I'd just like to add one more thing. Obviously, we had a home game against Marlborough on Sunday. One of our players, Carla Pereira, unfortunately picked up quite a serious injury. To be honest, I don't know the full extent of the injury, but it does look like she's going to be out for some period of time. So I'd just like to pass on best wishes to Carla from everyone at the club, everyone in the team and everyone in the squad, and just wish her a speedy recovery, and hopefully we can get her back on the pitch as soon as possible. So all the best, Carla.
Well, thanks for that, Tim. And best wishes to Carla. Speedy recovery from everybody at Warminster Town Football Club. It's sad when you get an injury like that because you're just flying along and then next minute you can't play for a while, and let alone the pain you feel as well. So thanks for sharing that, Tim. I'm sure Carla will appreciate it. Thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you very much.
Well, Tim, thank you ever so much for giving up your time to come on the podcast. We appreciate that. And maybe we can have a chat in a few weeks' time again to get an update on how things are going and where everything's heading. Yeah,
absolutely fine. Yeah, look forward to it. No problem at all.
Brilliant. Thank you very much indeed.
No problem. Thank you.
My thanks once again to Tim for taking part in the podcast. Now, please do look up Warminster Town Football Club website, warminstertownfc.com. You'll find the lads fixtures on there. We're going to get the ladies fixtures on as soon as we possibly can as well for you. You'll see down the right hand side of warminstertownfc.com the fixture list. So we're going to try and get all those fixtures for the ladies added on as soon as we can. And bear in mind too that they have their own Instagram account and Twitter account. So it's Warminster LFC as the ladies' official Twitter account and Instagram. So do look them up. And they use our Facebook page as well as the men's team. We share the Facebook page together. And of course, we just really do want to promote ladies football. Entry is free on Sunday. So if you want to go up on Sunday, please do so. If you'd like to make a donation, obviously you can see the club about that. But basically, we want to get people supporting the ladies team. And so far, so good. So thank you very much for doing that. Well, there goes the final whistle, and that brings this week's podcast to an end. We've hoped you enjoyed the Warminster Town Football Club supporter podcast. So before you go, if you haven't done so already, please do subscribe using your favourite platform. Thanks for listening.